Good morning guys. So the very first thing that I want to do before I even start this video is apologize for the fact that this video is so late. For those of you that don't know, I was dealing with a severe allergic reaction on my face. Not ideal, but that is why I have not posted. So I feel like today's video is a really good video to come back with, and that is because, as you read from the title, we're going to be talking about how to open up to someone about your eating disorder. And this video was actually requested by someone, which I really appreciate. And so I'm going to kind of be talking about my advice that I can give you and how I think it can be a little bit easier, because obviously opening up about mental health is one of the biggest and hardest things. And especially, I shouldn't say especially, but when it's with an eating disorder, there can be a lot of shame that comes with it, and there shouldn't be. I would love to sit here and say that I feel no shame about my experiences with my eating disorders, but obviously, being human, we do, and I feel like shame makes it that much harder to open up to someone. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, and I've got a few things I want to go over with you. So if you're interested in this video, keep watching. So I think the first thing that I'd like to say is that when you're opening up to someone about your eating disorder, obviously it is such a difficult and challenging thing for you to do. So you need to make sure that the person that you choose is someone that you trust wholeheartedly, and also someone that, this is very difficult to say because I don't want to offend anyone, but there are people in life that everyone knows and you'll be friends with them and they're amazing people, but they may not have gone through their own mental issues, they may not have seen mental illness, so they may not understand it completely. And I feel like even though those people can be incredible people, maybe they're not the ones to specifically turn to when talking about mental health. You want to be able to open up to someone who is going to understand on some level, not necessarily have gone through the same thing as you, but that will understand. And I think it can be very difficult when opening up to someone who hasn't experienced or seen mental health, because those people can be absolutely incredible, but they won't have that depth to them, and that is not an insult. That's just based on people's life experiences. And I think that you need to pick someone who you know is going to understand on some level. Now, in saying that, the next thing I'm going to say, I feel like is important, but this is my own personal opinion. I'm not saying that everyone should think this way. And I'm very, not 50-50, but I'm very back and forth on this because I see both sides so much. But I personally think that if you're opening up to someone about your eating disorder, especially if you're doing it to take that step into recovery and you need help, I would recommend not opening up to someone with an eating disorder, or at least not having someone else with an eating disorder be your sole person for support. And there's a few reasons why. Don't get me wrong, I've met some incredible people, and a lot of my friends in my lives have had in my lives. How many lives have I lived? I think knowing other people that have eating disorders and being able to connect with someone and have people that understand you is amazing. And I think, well, that's why I'm making these videos in the first place, is to help people feel less alone. But I think when it comes to recovery, it can be so difficult because I've had amazing support from people that have had eating disorders, and I've made some incredible friends over the years. But I don't think that when you want to recover, they can be that 100% support for you because they're dealing with it as well. And so yes, you can relate to each other and that can be good, but it can also be damaging, because I think everyone can kind of relate to this just in life in general. But when you have mental illness and you find other people with the same illnesses as you, it's very easy to make light of it, and it's very easy to make jokes of it. And I know that's kind of society at the moment, but it can be very toxic if you're trying to recover and you're constantly making jokes about being bulimic or not eating, or, you know, it's very hard. And I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm just saying that if you're trying to recover, maybe someone without an eating disorder would be a better option as far as how far you can get in your recovery. Another thing as well is telling someone in your family can be very back and forth. I've spoken to a lot of people that have said to me, look, I can't tell someone in my family because either I can't trust people in my family, or I'm not close to my parents or my siblings. And I get that, and I can't sit here and say that I'm exactly the same, because I did open up to my sister and she is my 100%, she is my everything, she's my support and has been the reason I've gotten to where I am today. So I can't relate on that level, but I can say that I understand, and I get that not everyone lives in a household where they feel comfortable to open up about their eating disorder. It can also be very difficult because I know the fear that comes with opening up to someone in your family, because you think this person is so close to me physically and emotionally that if I tell them, that's it. Like, once I tell them I can't have my space. You know, if you tell a friend, you can still come home and have your eating disorder somewhat in secret, but if you open up to someone in your family, you can feel like that's the end. And I know that that would stop so many people from opening up. And I'm just going to say, you have every right to feel that way. Every single right in the world. I did tell my sister, and it was hard, but it was also the best decision, because having someone so close, it was difficult, but we made it work together, because she understood that she couldn't tell me, look, you can't do this, and we're going to put down all these rules and you have to follow them so you recover. She knew that mental illness doesn't work that way. She knew that if she told me not to do something, I would go and do it, and especially when I was at my sickest, which is when she found out. So I do think that if you have someone in your family that you can trust, it will be hard, but I think being brave and telling someone you trust in your family is one of the best things that you can do for your recovery. But in saying that, I also understand if you don't have that person, or you're not close with your family, because not everyone is, and not everyone has that support system at home that they need. So once you have figured out who your person is going to be, whether it be a best friend or an adult that you know, it could be some kind of life support hotline you could call. It can be anyone that you feel comfortable with. And the next biggest thing that I can tell you as far as sharing your mental health and your eating disorder with them is that make sure, above anything else, make sure when you tell them that you're in a comfortable place. Make sure that there is no time limit and you can talk to them for as long as you need. No one can be rushing off to work. No one can have an appointment they need to go to. Just get this person somewhere you feel comfortable. That might be in your home, it might be at a park or a cafe that you both like. It can be anywhere, but making sure that you're comfortable is going to make this experience so much easier, because let's be honest, we know how difficult it's going to be. When you're with your person and you're about to tell them about your eating disorder, let them know at the start that it's going to be hard to talk about. Let them know that you maybe don't know exactly what you're going to say or how it's going to come out. Let them know that you could get confused, or that what you're going to say might not make sense, because let's be honest, eating disorders are one of the most complicated things in the whole world, and they're not easy to explain. I talk about my eating disorder to so many people in everyday life, and I still have moments where I'm like, I know this doesn't make sense, but this is how my brain works. And I just find that saying that one extra sentence really helps me tell them what I need to tell them, and it helps them kind of understand, because they don't feel the pressure of, I'm listening to you, but I don't really get what you're saying, because you've already given them permission to be confused. And I know that sounds kind of silly and like such a simple sentence, like I'm telling you now my story is going to be confusing, but I just promise you it makes it so much easier to explain your mental health to them. My next biggest advice that I can give you is that when you're sharing this information with your person, don't hold back. And I know that this is probably the scariest part to hear, because when you have an eating disorder or mental illness in general, and you have this thing that no one knows about, and it's your secret and you can do it and it's all yours, and you feel like it's a protection. You feel like it's a protective cape that can hide you from everything bad. It's yours. You can turn to it when things are difficult, and no one has to know about it because it's yours. And I get that when you want to tell someone, that means kind of letting go. Not entirely, but it means giving up this secret. It means letting go of this thing that is entirely yours and bringing someone else into it. And I know how scary that is. I really, really get it. It's horrifying. But I can also tell you that once you share with just one person, the weight that comes off your shoulders and the feeling that you get it's incredible, and I can't really describe it. It just feels like you have all this strength, and real strength as well, because you feel like your eating disorder gives you strength. You really do. You think that you're strong because you can do this thing that no one else can, whether it's you don't eat as much as you should or you be sick afterwards. You feel like it's a superpower. And I know how that might sound to the regular, but but it's true. You feel like you've got something that no one else has, and when you share it, you feel like it's getting taken away. But when you tell someone, the real feeling that you get is strength. You feel braver and stronger and you feel like you can do more and you want to do more. So don't hold back. Tell them everything. Tell them what scares you. Tell them what triggers you. Tell them how you feel if you're making a meal and someone walks into the kitchen. Tell them everything. They might not understand it, and you don't have to expect them to. Just know that they might not get it, but they're there to listen. And if you pick the right person, they're going to love you and they're going to care about you and accept everything you're saying. You can say that you get insane anxiety if you're making a meal or a snack and someone walks in the kitchen. You can say that you can't breathe properly when someone invites you out for lunch. You can say that the trauma of having to leave the table after eating a meal with your friends, it's awful. And you can tell them that. It might take a long time. You might have to have more than one catch up with them. It can be a really slow process, but at the end of the day, just don't hold back. And even if you can't let go of everything at once, just say there's so much more I want to tell you, but it's going to take time. And they love you, so they're going to accept that. Depending where you're at with your recovery will depend on what you want to get out of telling someone about your eating disorder. You could be at any point and still have not told anyone. If it's the very first thing that you've ever done and your eating disorder is a complete and utter secret, and you even watching these videos is a secret, then maybe telling someone is too much to handle. Or maybe you can, but that's all you can do. You can just say to someone, look, I have an eating disorder, but I can't talk about it. And maybe you don't talk about it and you've just said that you've got one, and getting that off your chest will do so much for you. And it doesn't matter if you don't talk about it for another couple months. There is no time limit on recovery, and I've said it 1,000 times and I'll say it 1,000,000 times again, because I always felt like I had this limit, that I had a couple years, and from the start of my recovery to a couple years later, I had to do everything and get better and be completely healed. It's a mental illness. It doesn't matter how long it takes, because you're going to get happier and you're going to get stronger with every single step that you take. It doesn't matter if it takes a month or a year or 5, because you're going to get happier along the way. If you're at the stage where you feel like you want to tell someone about your eating disorder, then there is a part of you deep down that knows that it's too much. There is a part of you deep down that knows that your eating disorder is not a real happiness, and that it's taking things from you, and that even though you get this sense of euphoria and this sense of happiness, you know deep down that it's not something that you want. So I will tell you that yes, telling someone can be one of the scariest things. Is confronting, and it's difficult, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's easy, because y'all would know that I'm lying. But it is so worth it. It is so worth it. And if you can find the strength within yourself to tell someone, you're going to find that you've got so much more strength inside of you than you're even aware of. I guarantee when you feel like you're at your worst, your sickest point, no matter what you look like, your sickest point can be anything. And I guarantee when you feel your worst and you feel like you can't get any lower, I promise you there is so much strength inside of you that you don't even know of. And it will come out. And the way to get it to come out is by taking baby steps. You don't have to do everything all at once. You don't have to tell 1,000,000 people. You don't have to sit in front of a camera and do YouTube videos. You don't have to do any of that, because it's your journey. You take the smallest steps that you need to take, whether it's eating one extra piece of fruit a day or whether it is opening up to someone. You do what works for you, because every single person is different, and if you try to do what everyone else recommends, you're not going to get better, because it's your journey and it's your story. And now that I've been extremely deep and emotional with you, I'm going to end this video here, but I love you guys so, so much, and the support I've received from all of you has been amazing. Even while not posting for just 2 weeks, I had messages from people asking if I was okay. And I just think that that's one of the most beautiful things, and I can't even tell you how grateful I am to already have people being so supportive of this channel. But I really do hope this video helped you. I really hope I said something that maybe stuck with you, and maybe you think, maybe I could tell someone. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not even a week, and maybe in a month. Maybe in a month I'll tell someone. Please know that I'm also always here for anyone that needs support. It's been amazing so far having people reach out to me, and I mean, I'm just a regular person. I'm just like everyone else. But I think the bravery that comes with reaching out to someone is just incredible. So I'm so thankful to the people that have done that. And if anyone wants to get in contact with me, I do use my Instagram probably the most, and I always link that down below. Just send me a message on there and I guarantee I will see it. But with all that being said, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching this video, and I really hope I see you in my next one. Bye guys.